Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So this is about calculating molar mass for compounds. All right. So it turns out that the periodic table, the people that made it were very, very clever. Basically, all of these numbers, these mass numbers, are set up so that a certain amount of hydrogen atoms can be found in 1.08008 grams of hydrogen. Well, the same number of lithium atoms can be found in 6.941 grams of lithium, and the same number of sodium atoms can be found in 22.990 grams of sodium. So all of those things are equal to the same number of atoms. Now, we have a word for that in chemistry. That word is a mole. A mole of atoms. All right? And every one of these masses is equal to 1 mole of atoms. Same number of atoms every time. It's just that a nickel atom is way, way bigger than a hydrogen atom. Now, in order to use that, we can say basically the molar mass of beryllium is 9.012. Okay? So that's the molar mass of just the element beryllium. But most of the time, you don't have elements, you have compounds. So, in order to get the molar mass of a compound, you have to sum the masses of all of the elements in the compound. The unit for molar mass is grams per mole, which we generally abbreviate grams per mole, M-O-L. Now, I know that's not much of an abbreviation, but there you go. And all of your calculations, none of them are complete unless you use the units, okay? So units are absolutely required, and they will be in all of the grading for the course. All right, now let's just go ahead and get going. If we want to calculate the molar mass of aluminum sulfate, so the first step is to determine the number of atoms of each element in the compound. So let's just take them one at a time. So the number of atoms of aluminum, actually let me change from red. The number of atoms of aluminum is 2, okay? So aluminum, we have 2 atoms. The number of atoms of sulfur, well, there's 1 atom of sulfur right there, but they're in a sulfate, but there are 3 sulfates. So the total number of sulfur atoms is 3. And the number of atoms of oxygen, there are 4 oxygens, excuse me, in a sulfate, and there are 3 sulfates. So oxygen is going to be 4 times 3 is equal to 12. Now, I'm sorry, folks, I'm having a little bit of struggles. It's that time of year with the flu and everything. Multiply the mass of each element by the number of atoms of each element in the compound. All right, so here's what we mean by that. You go to your periodic table and you find the mass for aluminum. So the mass for aluminum is going to be 26.982 grams per mole. So we're going to do that calculation. So aluminum is 2, which is the number of aluminum atoms, times 26.982 grams per mole. That is a total of 53.964 grams per mole. And we're always, always, always going to use every decimal place in the periodic table. All of the quizzes are set that way. All of the answer checkers are set that way. So if you do not use them, you basically will get nothing right. Next, we need to figure out the mass of the sulfur. So we find sulfur, and that is 32.066. So we take our 3 sulfur atoms, we multiply by 32.066 grams per mole, and we end up with 96.198 grams per mole. Finally, oxygen. There's 12 of them. Oxygen molar mass, 15.999. So, oxygen, 12 times 15.999 grams per mole. And that's going to give me 100, and I did it again. Let's try that one more time. 191.988 grams per mole. Now I just noticed that I wasn't paying much attention to my colors, so I'm going to quickly change that to purple so that it's going to be easier to follow. Now, to get the mass of the whole thing, we find the sum. Now, since I've already written them here, what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to take 53.964, I'm going to add it to 96.198, and add that to 191.988, and all of that is going to be equal to 342.150. We had 3 decimal places in every one of those, so we'll have 3 here. The unit will be grams per mole. When we write it, we are going to use the symbol capital M with a bar across the top. That means molar mass. And then in a subscript, we're going to write the formula, Al2SO4 3. And so this reads, the molar mass of aluminum sulfate is 342.150 grams per mole. And remember, we're going to use all 3 decimals all the time. All right. So we will not be rounding any of these things anytime. All right, folks, so that's how you calculate molar mass. You can turn your attention to the practice here. Good luck.